Sorry for the prep time. How I learn. So, depending on, all right, get this bright idea. All right. So as I read text, I tend to do it out loud. That's supposed to be you. Loud. Because I don't know, there's 3 types of learners. Audio, exploratory, and these are and this means you do it with hands-on. Exploratory. I want to try my best to spell it correctly. And then kinesthetic. I think kinesthetic is feeling. There's a mixed, but it's basically audio, read, and feeling. All right, so that's our basic core. That's what I do, and that's why I talk out loud and ask questions. I ask, is this what I'm supposed to do? All right. My problem is that certain individuals, they've already explained it to you and they've shown you, but as you're repeating the process back, they'll cut you off and then finish explaining it again. I'm like, here's the problem. The steps, I'm trying to retain these steps, and what I'm doing is accessing my memory points. And I already have yours right here of that and that. I'm trying to create a new one so that way I can get a timing or a cadence build up. Because I'm not going to do it the same way you do, and I'm going to have different reasons. My reasons for doing it will be you, number 1, and then A, action. So I'm trying to bridge those gaps together with other dots of interest. And then I'm going to do a trial and error. Which I'm not going to do I guess I could do it here. Seeds, no sins, no 6. Why is that? Oh, wait. I guess that's my Google Sync working through Bing. So the first thing I need to discuss is my dog. It's not my dog, but he's my dog, if you get me. Melvin. He's I think 5 or 6 now. I keep calling him a 4-year-old, and I've been doing it for some time since COVID-19. So COVID-19, I'm waiting for my computer to load. All right, ET meaning. So collaborative video. $19, which is all right. All right, so this is either Eastern time, East, or forming nouns that were originally diminutives. That's not what I'm looking for. All right, old forming nouns such as comet, often denoting people. Origin, Greek, etis, meaning that is or measured. It's at the end of a fucking page. Typically stands for evapotranspiration, which refers to the combination process. No, that's not it. Dialect past tense, particle eat. I like the way you brush your hair. Eastern time, small one. Group. All right, so that's a noun suffix. It's group. Anyways, I'm missing this piece of information for it's usually et, and then it's written something else. I have problems with English for a reason. That's why I have my audio transcripts from one side to the other. And they battle back and forth between my actions and equilibrium. So, because there's little rocks in our ears, little cubes. When you zoom in, they have little crystals in your ears. So you can think of it however you want, like diamonds in the rough, or sand, whatever. So, all right. But anyways, I've explained this in the Happy Birthday Josh video. What I'm going to discuss today is this. So I'm working on electrical engineering projects, and I'm reading my instructions out loud. Electrical engineering. And I'm trying to build this basic LED project. So, you start off with basic diodes and sensors and stuff. But anyways, you have this LED, which has this little thing. Anyways, and it shines light. As I'm working on it, I'm reading it out loud. And there's this gentleman right here. His name is Melvin. And it was almost as if he was understanding the material as well, because I kept rereading certain things, and then he would come and point and push things on the table. So the table was right here. There was a couch right here. And I'm sitting right here, which you can see in my first few videos where my location was. So anyways, I had all these little things laid out in an organized manner, and I'm reading out loud on this project book. And he would be walking in and out to get his water and food over here. And I'd get stuck. I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? And he'd come and he'd like push up my leg, and then he'd push something. So, and it was the right thing. So I don't know how he pieced it together, or whether that was just an act of God, just whatever, or maybe it never really happened. It was a psychosis event. I know I witnessed it, and it was multiple times, multiple different things. So I started talking to Melvin like a human. And guess what? We built this project. Anyways, the light sensor then became a basic push button mechanism. And the problem was that we faced the same issue as they did in that Matt Damon movie where he's stuck on Mars. Is I can't do this I don't have the space here. Even though this was an entire wall that we were placing buttons on, I did not have space for 26. Even 16 was too much, so we had to figure some sort of system out. Anyways, long story short, this dog eventually got to the point, and the epiphany moment, the awesome moment, is when it's, you've been working on a project so long, and you've been hitting battle after battle after battle. And then all of a sudden you hit this point where you're just like, yes, it's working. And then you've got more problems that arise. It just goes haywire because the letters aren't coming out correctly. But you made a huge step in the logic. So then you just place it to the power of 0 and you start over. That's your new problem. This is no longer an issue. You've done it. You may not remember it all the way through, but you'll always come back to that because you know that's a success. So eventually we got to the point to where he was fucking writing sentences and stuff. He knew more because of his handler. She would constantly do the same thing, reading books and stuff. Talk to him like a human, you know. Occasionally he's his baby, and he pulls that shit with me, and I'm like, no, stop being a little fucktard. So, anyways, I set up an account on Reddit. Actually, he did. We did the auto suggested, which is Wild Assistant, which I thought was perfect because he was my assistant. Underscore, so that's actually spelled, and then it goes underscore, so it's NT. It's all one thing, 4104. So anytime he would write something or an idea, I would try to articulate upon it, so that way it translate well, because he doesn't have all the dynamics of grammar and stuff, and I don't need. But anyways, I was drunk most of the time during that time because it was just too mind-blowing, this whole situation right here. Like, what the fuck's going on? How do you explain that to anyone that actually happened? So, and there's multiple different things, like, and then what I got to is timing. Maybe the cadence of my vocal tones, because he's a dog, so he's got big ears. So he's got the big ears. That's more like a lamb or a Rudolph. And I don't know, that's a duck-billed platypus, I guess. I don't know. Now he's going to be a turtle. Turtle. So, maybe the errors that were coming out of my mouth at this point right here, he just knew that it was guiding me here. I kept walking around the room trying to figure things out, looking at the table, and he just stood pointing and then pointed. And he's like, make a fucking decision. So I understood that rule. It's like, whether you're right or wrong, it's better to make a decision and move forward, and then someone will step up, which he was stepping up. He kept stepping up. He's like, you got served, bitch. After his move, he would wag his tail. Well, I'm like, how'd you know, buddy? He's like, because I'm a fucking self-made genius. I'm like, you're a dog. Settle the fuck down. You look your a-hole. He's like, yes, I do. Yes, I do. So, I forgot where I was going with that. All right, I should do the back of this one. Let's not waste not, want not. All right. So, in IQ tests or psychological exams, they eventually get to this. They do the ink blot thing, which is fucking bullshit. They're trying to see what you see, and that's it. I mean, I get it. I get it, but this ink blot thing, I'm going to lie every time. I'm just going to say penis. All I see is penis in my face. Get your penis out of my face. And I'm just going to keep reiterating, railroading. It's like, this is a fucking dumb test. I can tell you what's wrong with me. Oh, but I'm trying to figure out the deeper meaning. Like, if I'm always seeing penis, then what the fuck how are we moving forward? Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to do the next step. So then the next step would be this, like, there's the picture, there's a series of pictures of like 4 or 5, and they say place it in order. There's a ball. All right. And we'll do even that. We'll add emotion into that one. So, and then, no brain. Place them in order. And I would always fail this test. And it wasn't on purpose. It was just like, you never defined which one was the first one or the last one, first and foremost. Okay, so obviously our brain would say, last, first, middle one, and then middle two on that. It just makes sense, middle two. But for some reason, I would say I would carry out this as the first, because that is the point of maximum energy. But no one was seeing that. You know, this is easy. This is identifying the problem, and then I would write sentences based on the pictures. So I would carry out a conversation, but I was always told, nope, wrong. And then we get to word associations. So, and this is key. This is a key one. So they're testing me to see what's wrong with my audio processing, which I already knew about my surgeries and stuff, and the fact that I couldn't talk about it. So, because no one would understand. We do this one, and they're doing, give me an alternate word. They're doing synonyms, and not cinnamons. That's hot. It's not really hot, but it hits the flame in the mouth sometimes if you do too much, like Big Red. Without you, baby, need me. So they said island. Describe island for me. What is it? And then wait, no. What was it? And I just said volcano. And they're like, no, that's wrong. What is it? What is it surrounded by? And they were trying to lead me into it. I'm like, I understand it's surrounded by a full body of water. That is not the most accurate explanation for it. It's volcano. Check your list. They had to go back into the book and look at it. They're like, that is correct. And they were astonished. They're like, that is, I think, one of the third, it was like the third word that was an alternate higher definition. So they're like, you understand geomagnetics? And I'm like, yes. You do not? And they're like, no. And they're like, you understand? And then they started understanding. They went back on a few other ones that they thought were wrong because I was failing the test. And then they realized that I was correct. And then correct again. And then they were all like, we don't know what to do with this fella because he's failing on some of the stuff, like up here. But he's maxing out our definitions, which aren't even in our mental scale. He's answering questions way up here. So this is the average midpoint. So, and mind you, this was after I had an incident in English with, now it wasn't like an old orangutan. It was a nice young juicy one, but in English, she had some big old boobies. And then she threw shit at me all the time. She's like, you need to shut your mouth and listen to the story. I'm like, I don't want to listen to the story, all right? Because we read stories in class. And I think it was, wait, of Mice and Men.
What?
Of Mice and Men.
Yeah.
Did they do sodomy in that one? Or was that Huckleberry Finn?
I never watched Huckleberry Finn.
I never watched them either. They were the books we read in class.
Sodomy? Oh no, that's a Kite Runner.
Okay, well anyways, we were reading this book in class and they were dealing with this chapter of sodomy and how to do it. And I'm like, I don't want any part of this. This is not who I am. This is not what I was raised in. I shouldn't have to do this. And they're like, suspend. Suspend. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is the first time I've heard that. What the fuck is that? Suspend your disbelief. Disbelief. All right. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? You didn't answer the first question. Why? And now you're telling me to not ask any more questions is what I just heard. No, it'll make sense in the end. When is anal sex going to make sense in the end? Especially if it's forced upon someone. They're like, no, you just got, it'll be okay at the end of the book. You'll find out. And then I'm like, no, I won't. So I start cussing her out, and then I get sent to the office, and then I deal with the principal. I'm like, here's the deal, man. I'm like, she's reading light erotica in class to a bunch of minors. All right. I mean, I don't give two shits how you teach your program, but here's the deal. I said no. She said, you keep going. Are you teaching that? And then he's like, whoa, too many minefields here. He's like, let's deal with the problem. What do you want to do? I'm like, I want out of that fucking class. I want to go on the LD program because I'm a dum-dum. If I've got to read sodomy every fucking week, because she did English 1 and 2, I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm going to fail out of school. He's like, all right, we'll get this test. So they get me into the psych test, and then I start answering all these questions. Anyways, everyone along the way is like, this kid, he's hilarious as fuck when you let him go. But we can't just let him go in class because everyone's going to step up. So we got to monitor him. So I got my own case manager, and that became my curricular as advanced mathematics, because math is simple. You don't have to communicate much. I mean, I had a hard time with it, but mostly because I'm in the LD program and they didn't know how to teach it. So I'm in study hall. I have an LD study hall, and they hand me the teacher's guide. They're like, just copy the answers down. That's what everyone does. They cheat off of each other. And I'm like, you're giving me the teacher's aid. You're not even allowing me time to learn. You're telling me to go to the back appendix section. So, and then write the answers down without learning. They're like, it'll make sense. Again, suspend your disbelief. At that point, my heart broke. I lost the love of education. ED was broken for me, so I never had erectile dysfunction after that. I knew I had to be hard on myself. We're talking about the penis, obviously, because the pen is mightier than the sword. But words hurt. All right, last thing first, spell sword. Words hurt. Swords cut deep. So the sound that radiates out of your mouth because someone's trying to be a dick to you. All right. About a matter of this video right here. Yeah, I want to learn the dance and then I actually do it for this channel because I did the baby face video, and I think a lot of people are traumatized about a 42-year-old man in a diaper. Are you ever going to forget that, Dontorius? Okay, Dontorius has never. I formed a wrinkle in his brain, and that's not even possible. But it happened. All right. So this is what I do. I make a video, and it has different conversations in it. Very simple. And then they lead to other videos, and they have different conversations. So what you have to do is learn to interpret the dynamics of what this topic meant to you, this topic. It usually runs in 3. Sometimes I'll run it to 10, and that is not 2. That does not equal 2, but actual 10 different in my mental. And this is what we need to get to. Brain logic. Barry's back. So that's my brain logic. So we'll do, sometimes I'll branch out to 10 different ones. You can break down this connective property and then isolate how many people I'm talking to, actually. It's a simple process. I use pi. The derivative of pi and using that comes out as ASCII. And then I just use English to bridge everything together. So that's my little Raphael trick when I'm doing samurai. Dojo. Wait, is it dojo? What's a dojo?
Training wall.
My karate do ya. Karate. Is that got an umlaut at top of the E? Or is it just E on karate?
No, not.
It doesn't have anything above it?
No.
All right, well, we're going to put a thinking cap up there. Because he's riding his big old truck with Kate. Because Ra is the light, obviously. It's the park gate. Alright, so. Alright, let's flip it back over. We're going to do the exact same thing here. Alright, 1. Life should always be. Not because of APP. Yeah, you know me. Alright. It's happy because you made the choice to spend your time wisely. Why? People ask, why are you doing this? Because it's fun. Alright. Or it's New York. Funny. Alright. So, anyways. People use AI. Okay, I said that in my hotel video. Good people use AI. Alright. Original ideas. If you're using someone else's method, you don't know how it's baked in there. So that's the hard part. And then all of a sudden you're doing drugs down in the back alley, sucking off men for the next hit. We've all been there at one point or another in our own variation. The thing is like, yeah, some people are at work in this cubicle and they're like, how is this any different? It ain't, buddy. And if you're thinking about it, that means yourself inside is on some corner sucking someone off as your boss is telling you. Did you file that TPS report? And they're like, did you get the memo? You're like, God, do I have to listen to it? I have 3 bosses telling me the same thing. All right. So that is my problem right there. How to translate that to someone else. So, okay, all right. So I had this. I'm jumping around. I'm going to allow my brain to just free flow. This is going to be a fucked up video. So I had this speech interpretation class, or interpretive speech is what it was called. That's how they labeled it. Interpretive, which was improv, but it wasn't improv because we weren't doing things. It was interpretive. I can't spell it. Speech. Anyways, I get paired up. We get paired up. He does supposedly random draw. And I think he even did cards too, but I think I don't know. He figured out a way to match up a good speaker with a not so good. All right, so you could have the gong show, basically. So our topic we had to discuss with abortion. Holy shit. Okay, wow, that bridged in. Her name was Beverly.
Elliot.
Beverly, like that movie, not Beverly Hillbillies, Beverly, she was a redhead. The Girl Scout movie. Anyways, Troop Beverly Hills. That was what it is. Troop Beverly Hills. And that's what I always thought about when I saw her. Troop Beverly Hills. I liked that movie. It was weird, but I liked it. Sorry. Hills. All right. Anyways, she was the actress from Cheers. All right. And then Ted Danson, and I'm gonna let you in on my little high school secret. Ted Danson is actually Whoopi Goldberg. All right, he is a lesbian in disguise. All right, so here's the deal. So this is how I figured it out. Because when you look at them, they even did a movie together. And I'm like, oh, is this one of those, God, what is this? Eddie Murphy in his movie where he did the Nutty Professor and all that? Yeah, that had just come out. And I'm like, oh my dear God, that makes so much sense now. Ted Danson is Whoopi Goldberg. And everyone mind blew when they heard that. They're like, we're done talking to you. You're a stupid moron. And I'm like, exactly. Now walk away. So anyways, Beverly either just had a situation like this or was on her period. And she was very emotional and she didn't want to do this conversation. She wouldn't do any of it. So I'm like, don't worry about it. I will be aggressive. I will. And this whole fucking thing. I was 17 at the time. We're going to listen age. 17. That's where the desk was in the class. The doorway was right here. They had glass from here to here. You could see in. All right. Then they had these like little library things that had the little silent whatever. So we had a TV over here. We had the editing studio over here. Anyways, we weren't recording this stuff. This was just improv. So these are desks. This is how it was. And there's a chalkboard right here. So anyways, we had this table. And then she said she was pregnant. I'm like, all I need you. So we're out here with the teacher. I'm like, and I'm talking with the teacher. I'm like, here's the deal. All right, if we're doing abortion, we gotta do it right, and either it's completely okay or it's wrong. But we're not going to pussyfoot this. So the teacher was on board. He's like, okay, all right. So he's like, you do you. I trust you, sort of. Now, mind you, I did one speech about cooking cookies for Santa or Christmas. And I had to do an instructional video. So I'm making cookies on this table. And then I played an instructional video or a little shout out from someone else. Anyways, I had edited it in, 2 dogs fucking. Teacher's in the back, sees 2 dogs mating on TV. And he's like, how does that have to do with cookies and Santa? I'm like, you weren't supposed to see my personal pornography. And then he's like, I cannot process this right now. So anyways, he's like, I gave you a B because you knew better. So I'm like, whatever, it's well deserved. So me and Bev are out here with the teacher. There was another round table over here. So it was me, or the teacher, Bev, me, either which way. But anyways, I'm like, here's the deal. We're going to have a little argument, and then I'm going to make sure she doesn't have the kid. Which is really fucked up when I look on the grander scale of things. It's like, does my actions out of jest as a teen reflect on my adult life? So, yes, no, within reason. My interpretation that my actions similarly look, because I felt guilt afterwards. I did it out of innocence, but at the same time, my brain couldn't process it. But I'm able to shut certain things off and do it anyways. So we're in there. She's like, I think I'm pregnant. I'm like, you only need to say, I think I'm pregnant, and no, I want to keep the baby. So anyways, there was a domestic abuse. We had to deal with that subject as well. Anyways, I gave them straight garbage. I flipped the table, and then we did a cut scene like in, Saved by the Bell. And then we did a moral thing. Abuse is wrong. All right, sit down and talk and explain the pros and cons, and then work from there. So that's how it was. But the thing is, I flipped the table. I said, I want to make sure you don't have the baby, blah, 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 blah. So anyways, God, that was a dark one that I didn't want to bring up. All right, with that being said, we had this other one. This was a radio and television now. Where did I write it? Radio and TV. All right. So it was almost beaten world records. And this, I love my mom, but she liked to fuck with me all the fucking time. I had to work. I was working yeah, I was working 2 jobs and doing improv class during this time. So this is my senior year. I was 18. And I'm like, I'm busy as all get up, but I need to get a goldfish. The whole thing was, is my teacher said, you're going to swallow this goldfish, and we're going to say it's such and such number, and then you're going to just drop it out of your mouth. You're going to have to improv from there. So I told it's a goldfish, mind you. My teacher expected a little tiny little goldfish. So I'm like, okay. Oh, God, that brings up some fucked up shit, too. That's hilarious as shit. So apparently I process things weird. So anyways, goldfish. So I told my mom, I'm like, here's the money. Go get me a goldfish from the goldfish store. I have to work. I just need it at school at this time. Long story short, it was like 1:30 p.m. because that's when we do our shoot. So I'm at this table. We moved the round table down here. I'm at this table and I'm just sitting, and we got the camera and we're looking at it. Anyways, they bring out this fish, and it is a pond fish. So how do I do this? So you've got the little goldfish right here. And then my mom thought she would be hilarious and went to the farm store and got this big old whatever, which worked out well because I got most of it down until the tail was flopping out and hitting my nose and stuff. It was all inappropriate and wrong. It never made it on air. None of my stuff, in fact, made it onto the local broadcasting station on charter. But I had the opportunity to, but I made sure to railroad it enough that they couldn't do that. So, because I didn't want my image, because I was a big dude. I was 385 that year. So, I was a big dude. Yeah. So, fuck. I love that. This room brought a lot of memories. And I won't ruin it, Mr. Miller. His name was Mr. Miller, just like the drink. Anyways, high life. All right. We would watch South Park. So I basically watched South Park for 4 years of my high school career. I'm like, this is the life. This is how you do it. You get paid to watch TV. I'll fucking do that. Get paid to fuck around. I'll do that. So, anyways, I've been battling that demon ever since. God, do we say it? I'm just going to write some letters down, and we're going to do not look these up on adult sites. All right? So, they take little fishies into their own mouth. Fuck. And then I'm going to associate my other demon. All right, sliced cheese. You'll have to look up that position. So, some fucked up BDSM shit. And you won't find this unless if you're in some advanced groups or whatever. Yeah, it's fucked up. You start being asked to do anything. And don't look up Lemon Party until you're old. Lemon Bar Party. Now, 2 Girls, 1 Cup is old enough. Well, if you're young, no. Do not. One, first and foremost, kids, do not look up pornography. Save yourself. Save your innocence. Do the hard work, okay? Do not rot your brain out with junk, all right? Use your imagination, all right? It's one thing to look at, a Sears catalog, all right? That's okay, okay? Do not mess up the Sears catalog. Simply put it back where you found it. No one will know your business. Leaving a history trail, and this is in general, all right, it's going to be on that PC, one way or the other. History. Oh, I use secret search tabs. It doesn't matter. That base code is still in there because it's in the contract of whatever, Chrome, whatever. All right, so that way when you crash the computer because you're hitting the wrong links, they have all that. So, Be imaginative. Interact with people. Share experiences. No means no, though. No. All right. That's simple. All right. I know I went down this path real quick and I was carrying it down. Do not, and this is not one of those jokes. This stuff will hurt your brain. You're damaging your brain. Someone tried to warn me early on, and I'm like, no, I'm okay. Yeah, look at me now. I am fucked up. All right, so. Anyways, there's it's like my Mesler, God, what is that? System out in space. So, but anyways, they attached FU to it because someone was being hilarious. So, all right. Any other thing? Reiterating this, my conversation starts here. All right. A realization will happen eventually if I bridge enough different words together. So mixing and matching. All right. All right. But it is a fluid conversation from one central idea that I was working from. All right. So I'm starting to sweat bad. In speech, when you're practicing your cadence in front of an audience, the rule is to picture yourself naked, not the audience naked. All right, that is a joke for the unknowing, because if you picture the audience naked and you're inexperienced, you're going to get a pop-up happening. All right, if you're naked, you're fear. All right, if you can battle that, all right, image. All right, because people are going to take photos of it and post it online. If you can battle that and still have a normal conversation and deliver knowledge, you set for life. Don't let people fuck with you. All right. So, and then I talked about baseball in my October 10th video, 2024. All right. So you only have to hit these keywords. You can fill it with whatever you want, whatever jargon. You just make sure that one is up, one brings you down, amplitude. So that's negative, positive, positive. And then you have to hit this in the mid-range, but you always end on that top note. So that way you can reach your hands up when you're naked with your microphone and then drop it. And it'll make a big pop. All right? And then people will applause. And if they don't, they're deaf because they ain't hearing shit. Because you pop the mic. All right. Pop, pop. So, I hope visually that helps. But also, I have these protective mechanisms that I know these are not to be touched. All right. So, as you can see during, I'll go ahead and fuck this all up. So this is a GPS as well, because I realize when I avoid things, I talk in either geographical locations, person, place, or thing, so verbal. When I do both, it also brings up history, but it primarily goes down to these two. So you can identify, if you mark out one, then you know the other, it is present or it's not present. So there's never both out. So then you're hearing two conversations at once. So I got my cadence here. I'm hitting those points. Remove those points of interest and then work this problem. All right. And then the problem is like I'm having 10 different conversations in one, and you got to differentiate which items are connected. They all technically are, but what I did is like I did my list of talking. So they say, can you help me? I say, yes. They carry on their conversation. I make my checklist. I'm like, this, I have a story for this. I have a story for this. I have a story for this. And this is what they had in their story. They didn't have any of these, even though these would be good. So this is for your odd man out routine. Man out. This is the mic drop moment. So you tie all these together, you merge these into one mega story, and then what you're doing is cataloging this other conversation. You list the 3 things that triggered you, and then you let them know. You're like, here's the deal. I have this one story. So you've already iterated 1, 2, 3. And then you tell your story. And then you rope-a-dope them with this odd man out. And then you walk away. Or ask for more information. Or railroad the conversation. You talk about yourself. So, anyways, this rope-a-dope has got to be a doozy. That is your duty, dude, to do such. All right. So I forget where I was going. Now, for the next person, you repeat the process, but you understand that this was their micro list of this positive. So this is one idea now, and this incorporates the entire event. All right, and then that becomes one of these situations. But now when you access one of these situations, you have an itemized list of 3 items. And that event is now called timestamp name. And that's insert. And you never use that person's name at all. You give them a different name. I use men because men are problems, and then I use women, and we'll just leave it at that. So, whoa, man. All right. So that's too much. That's too deep. I didn't think about it like that. I get a lot of those. And then I mic drop Greg. Greg opens his holes for me. Go on. That's what he says. Because he says I'm a goon. He's like, go on. Do it. Do it. I'm waiting. So, anyways. He opens his big, whoa, this is dark cavern. All right. And you don't even know what's in there. You're like, I've forgotten what the many times that I've been able to handle you like that. It's a filing cabinet. Greg's a filing cabinet. It's like on SNL, Greg's an alien. Y'all dirty pigs. Fuck off. And he had a barcode right on his ass. Tramp stamp. His serial number. You want to know a serial number? I don't know a serial number. His tramp stamp said, as I'm doing a reach around, placing my art supplies, as you would say, into his hole. Shuffle anything around, you can make it sound bad. That's life lesson number 3. All right, Bev, had glasses. She sort of looked like this actress on here, but with bigger boobs. So, and then I had a bus incident with marching band where she had this little tight shirt. She was well assessed. I don't know how else to say it, but she had this little condom pocket on her boob and a logo on it. I'm like, she's like, you're looking at my boobs. I'm like, I'm trying to read that small print on there. She's like, no, you're staring at my tits. I'm like, you chose that shirt so I could do that. You either stop doing that and you won't have this issue, or you accept that you're a beautiful woman. She's like, I don't know how to take that. So I'll talk to you later. God bless. I gotta go.